Okay, the second part of today we're going to be estimating quotients. These two really go together because we are not going to necessarily be rounding as much as we're going to be finding compatible numbers. Okay, who remembers what compatible numbers are? Jackson?
Compatible numbers are when you multiply one number by two or three numbers by two numbers, and when you do that, you do both numbers and then you add bottom.
Not quite, Jackson. Does anybody remember? Yes.
Compatible numbers are numbers that have only one number and the rest are zero.
We're going to run into a couple today that actually have 2 digits. Compatible numbers are easy to work with, is what they are. Okay. So there will be times where, let's say I have this problem here. $632 divided by 8. Now, what can I change this into to where it is easy to work with that?
2 divided by 60 times 3. 36.
No, listen. This is 63, right? 8 times what gets you a number that's close to 63? 8 times 8 is what?
64.
So when we want to look for compatible numbers, that would be a compatible number because now I can take my 0 and just bring it over, right? What's left?
64.
Divided by 8, which is?
80.
So, before what we were doing when we found compatible numbers, everything that was in that lesson, we only had a single digit and then the rest zeros because we were multiplying. See, now when we're dividing, sometimes 2 digits will be the easiest one that we can work with the other answers. Okay? Does that make sense? Other times they'll tell you round to the nearest 10. So then that changes the whole question because now I'm looking at the 2 to round my 3, right? Is the 2 less than 5?
Yes.
So that means the 3 stays the same. So I have 630 divided by, well, nearest 10. What's nearest 10 to 8?
10.
10. Now I get rid of my zeros and say 1 and 63, so my answer is 63. So it really depends if we're using compatible numbers or if we're dividing using rounding. So you have to really pay attention to the question, and that's going to tell you. Okay? So in this case, we're rounding with a compatible number. So look, this is the perfect example. If we were to round this to the nearest 10, it would round to what? 160. But now we're dividing it by 5. So is 160 easier to divide this thing by, or is 150?
150.
Right, because if we do 150, we take our 0, we throw it over here in our answer, and we say 15 divided by 5 equals 3. We're done. Okay? That's a compatible number. Numbers that are easy to work with. Okay? So in this case, 156 divided by 5 is about 30. And I'm sorry, somebody started saying something? Yes, sir?
So it's like our last lesson, or on lesson 3. How
Yes, dividing by multiples of 10. It is just like dividing by multiples of 10. That is the reason why these two lessons are being done together in a single day. Januso, you need to stop kicking him. And Capone, you need to stop acting like you weren't doing anything wrong either. Okay? Sit up. Okay. So it's about 30. Now, same thing. We want to look for numbers that are easy to work with each other. It says Stacy has 158 photographs. A photo album will hold about 40. So here's my number so far. 40 photographs. Circle the number of photo albums that Stacy should buy. So I have 158, and that's going to be divided by 4. 40, sorry. Okay? And those numbers are kind of hard to work with, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a 0 here, which means I probably want something with a 0 over here so I can do this, right?
Right.
So what's close that's going to be easy for me to work with 4 with?
140.
140?
No.
160.
160. So 160 divided by 40 equals, well, I have 1 0 here, right? I have 1 0 here. So what happens to the zeros?
Instead of with your answer.
Cross them out. Cross them out.
If I have 1 0 on one side of my division problem and a 0 on my other side of the division problem, they go bye-bye. Now I'm left with 16 and 4. So 16 divided by 4 is?
4.
So there's my answer. 4 photo albums. Okay? We're looking for numbers that are easy to work with. We're going to divide or round to numbers that are easy to work with, or we are going to use compatible numbers. Okay? So, compatible. A dog's heart beats 365 times in 3 minutes. About how many times does a dog's heart beat in 1 minute? So, this is 3 minutes. Okay? Now, this is the key word that's going to let us know that, hey, you're going to round, or you're going to use a compatible number. You're going to make this problem easier for yourself. The word abouts. Abouts. Okay? So, I know that it needs to be something close to a minute. This says I'm going to change 365 to 360 because 360 and 3 are compatible. Well, why are 360 and 3 compatible? Well, because if I get rid of my 0 and just put it over here in my answer where it belongs, so that's done. I now have 36 divided by 3. How many times is 3 divide 36? Yes. 12. Because, look at it. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. And I'm done. There's my 120. Okay? So it says, so a dog's heart beats about
120 times.
About 120 times a minute. And it says check your math. Now you're going to multiply. Now, you remember a few weeks ago we worked on multiplying multiples of 10 and multiplying compatible numbers. Okay? So, I know that I can take my 0 and just put it over here, right? Now I have 3 times 12, which is 36. So that's 360. All right? Now, in this case, in this example, it's telling me that I need to round a different way. It's not telling me to use compatible numbers. It says round to the nearest hundred. Okay? Well, if it's telling me to round to the nearest hundred,
So it's 200.
so it's 200. Now it's telling me to change the divisor to a number that is compatible with the rounded dividend. So it's making me do two different things because it's saying this it's still too difficult for the math lesson that I want you to do. So you're going to go 200. And what is this close to that's going to make that easy to divide?
10.
Now, first thing we do is we say, how many zeros do I have over here?
3.
How many zeros do I have here?
1.
So that means I need to take one of these over here too and get rid of both of them, correct? How many zeros do I have left?
1.
So I take that and put it in my answer.
That's 20.
Now I have 2 divided by,
1, 2.
okay? Because once I take this 0 and put it in my answer, I get rid of this 0 too. So the only thing that's left is my 2 and my 1. So 208 divided by 8 is about 20. All right, so estimate 850 divided by 9. Estimate.
Round.
Round, then solve. For some strange reason, you guys think you solve and then round. You have to change the numbers, the dividend and the divisor, or just one, in order to make them easier to work with so you can come up with an estimate. Alright? You can't say, well, alright, I'm going to solve this and then I'm going to round it. No. You round the numbers to numbers that are easy to work with and then you solve. Okay? Now, according to my directions, it says that 850 is close to a number that is very easy to work with 9.
900.
900. So 850 will become 900. So we're actually rounding to this is nearest what?
Nearest 100.
100. Okay? Now, because these numbers are already compatible, we're going to leave it. So how many zeros do I have?
2.
Do I have any over here?
No.
So I keep both of them. Take them over to my answer. They are now done. 9 divided by 9 is?
1.
So 850 divided by 9 is about 100. Round, then solve. Okay. You're going to have to show
Estimated.
how you estimated. So you're rounding, okay? Your compatible numbers, it's kind of important. So make sure that you show it on your homework, okay? I'll go with the first one with you. 8. We have 635. So I'm looking at this.
That's 60.
So is it going to be easier for me to go to the nearest 100 or 10? 10, which is going to be what?
60. 70.
70.
There's no zeros in my divisor, so I bring my 0 to my answer. Now I have no 0. I have 64 divided by 8, which is, there's my answer. 80. It is very, very similar to the lesson that we just finished. Okay? Now you guys have about 15 minutes before we go, before you guys go back to your classes to release for lunch. Yes.
Oh. So on all of them, because they all don't have 2 numbers, we just go by the tens?
It depends. Let's look here. Number 5. I have 2 different ways that I can do this that I can see. Okay.
Either round or
How am I going to estimate my answer? Well, if I round it, I'm going to go to the nearest 10 and I'm going to get,
370.
but 370 does not do anything with 9, does it?
No.
So that means I have to round my 9 too, and I would end up with 10. Okay? Or I can look at this and I can say, well, what number is that close to that is compatible with 9? Which would be what?
36. 36. 300.
Divided by 9. So then I take my 0 over here. And 9 goes into 36 how many times?
4 times.
So, or I could do this and end up with, because that's done. I mean 37, sorry, not 36. Okay?
So there's 2 answers.
So there are different ways of doing it, which is why is it important to show how you're doing this. Okay? What? Now, the answers this week may not match some of the answers that you do, because if you look at this and try to find a compatible number instead of rounding to the nearest 10 or vice versa, the book is showing only one way. But that doesn't mean that the other way won't be accepted today. All right? You good to go?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to finish the video real quick and put them online so you guys can have them for your homework if you need them. And you have 15 minutes to work on your stuff before we rotate.